Welcome to West Wing Week.
Welcome to the West Wing Week, your guide to everything that's happening at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. This week, the president sat down with 3 YouTube creators to reflect on the State of the Union, headed to a local elementary school with the First Lady to honor Martin Luther King, and to the Motor City to celebrate the comeback of the American auto industry. That's January 15th to January 21st, or say spinach, say kale.
Say spinach, spinach. Say kale, kale.
On Friday afternoon, the president went live from the East Room with 3 popular YouTube creators who asked the president questions about the issues that matter most to them, including the need for a living wage, LGBT rights, and national security. They also got into a question on Star Wars.
If you had to pick from one of these Star Wars characters, who would you be?
I got to go with Han Solo. He's a little bit of a rebel.
On Sunday, the president took to the podium in the cabinet room to discuss the successful implementation of the international agreement to prevent Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon.
Good morning.
That same day, Iran released 5 Americans that they'd unjustly detained, some for years.
And they never gave up.
On Monday, the president and the First Lady headed to Leckie Elementary School to participate in a community service project alongside some bright young Leckie Lions. On Tuesday, the president welcomed to the White House a friend from down under, Prime Minister Turnbull of Australia. It was his first trip to Washington since assuming office. On Wednesday, the president headed to the Midwest, to Detroit, Michigan, to highlight that city's resurgence. The president got a taste of the city while eating lunch with Detroit's mayor and local business leaders at the Jolly Pumpkin. The president also stopped next door at a business called Shinola.
So you only hire good-looking, cool people, huh?
Shinola is a Detroit company that created hundreds of good jobs, producing, among other things, beautiful wristwatches. Then the president motored to the 2016 North American International Auto Show, where he saw the new electric Chevy Bolt and shared it with all of you on Facebook Live. On the floor of the auto show, the president also spoke with CBS's Lee Cowan. Then it was off to address a group of auto workers, where the president met with Brianna Leathers, who wrote a letter to the president in 2009, worried about whether her father's manufacturing business would survive the Great Recession. Since the time of her letter, the auto industry has added more than 640,000 jobs, benefiting Michigan families like Brianna's. On Thursday, the president hosted a reception for the nation's mayors to further strengthen the relationships between cities and the federal government. So stay engaged with us online and on Snapchat. And remember, you can find out more information about any of these topics and see complete videos of these events at whitehouse.gov. Thanks so much for checking out this edition of your West Wing Week.
I'm running out of books. I think there are no more books.